So let's get started. So today I'm going to start with a very simple mold, which is this small little coaster mold. And let's take a cup out here and take this beautiful peach colored cement. And I'm just going to take it out using this. For something like this, you could probably take out maybe around 6 or 7 spoonfuls. Like, really heap it up, don't worry about it, because we want to be able to fill up this cup. So I think, like, if you look at that, that's kind of got almost till here with the cement. And don't worry about it, because this is going to settle down once I start pouring the water inside it. This is going to start settling down. So I'm going to start with the water. Now the other important thing is that with cement is that the water to cement ratio is really important. So kind of like start with a little bit of water, don't go crazy, and kind of like just start mixing up. Initially you'll notice it's really lumpy, but as you keep mixing it will start becoming smoother like a paste. So now once I pour the initial water, I will pour a little bit more. Just keep pouring a little bit at a time. Don't go crazy and put in too much, because if there's too much water then you'll have to again put in cement to dilute it. Put this down, it can get a little bit tough, and so you'll find it's like almost like a cake batter, how you make a cake. You'll find it slowly getting mixed. And make sure that the spoon you're using reaches all the way to the bottom, so that there's no lumps in the bottom. Now here is a lovely consistency that I have got. It's almost like it's not really runny, but it's not really solid either. It's kind of like in between. It should drop, and the last bit, once you shake it, it'll drop from the spoon. It shouldn't just go like, it should be like a little bit, have some consistency, a little bit. Okay. And what you're going to notice is that inside the mixture, you might find a few lumps. So make sure that you kind of like press out all the lumps using the back of the spoon. Just like you would do for when you make cake. Press out all the lumps, make sure that the lumps are all out to kind of get them out. And then I'm going to start pouring this into the mold. So here we go. If you notice, the cement also has changed color when it's wet. It's now a little darker shade. So I'm going to pour it in. And I'm going to pour in a bit and then kind of shake it. So that if you see the air bubbles that are there inside, there's a lot of air bubbles, they're all going to come on the surface. And to ensure that I have gotten all the air bubbles out that I can, I'm just going to keep shaking it for a bit, and maybe also use my spoon to kind of like run inside any of the gaps to make sure that there's no air bubbles stuck down. So that will give me a beautiful smooth finish. Okay. And then once I've done that, I'm going to shake it up a bit more. See, now a lot of the air bubbles have gone, so that's going to give me a really good finish. Now the important thing is to make sure that the surface on which this is lying is nice and flat, and that you have got a nice even finish. Because what's going to happen is that this is the back of the mold. So once you take this out and you put it, you'll be putting it this way. So if this is not nice and flat, then you're going to find that your coaster is going to be slightly tilted and your glass is also going to be slightly tilted. It looks a little funny. So just make sure it's nice and flat and looks even. So the first thing you need to do is, by the way, check your cement, because the thing is that the cement could have small lumps in it. So begin by just kind of like taking the cement in your fingers, and if you feel any lumps, like I can feel a few lumps on there, just crush them a little bit. See, like I found one lump here. So just crush this lump to make it kind of like fine. If you want to, and if you find that there's many lumps, then you can even take a normal channi, your kitchen channi, and you can just pass the cement through it and just rub it a little bit, and the lumps will all come out. So that's the best way to ensure that you have the right quality of cement to begin with. So basically, if you throw this in your sink, it's going to clog up your sink because over time the cement is going to harden and then you'll have a blocked pipe. And similarly, if you throw this in your potty also, the cement is just going to harden up and somewhere along the line it's going to get stuck. So neither of these are good options. The best place for this is a bin. So now that we've poured this mold, what we're going to do is we're just going to take it aside and keep it very carefully on the side here so that it can cure. So what's going to happen is that this is going to basically take about 1 to 2 days depending on the weather conditions. I mean, if it's hot, it'll happen a little faster. If it's like monsoon, it might take 2 days. And you can check whether it's done or not by basically poking it with your finger. And if it feels like really hard, like rock hard, that's when you know that now it's ready to be removed from the mold. So if you want to, before you begin, you can get a tray or some sort of cardboard sheet on which you can keep your molds so that you can easily shift them and put them in a place where they won't be disturbed.